to the filter, but I feel much cleaner after it rains. And she left in the a picture on the wall. She always had that little drop of poison. Did the devil make the world while God was sleeping? You would get a wish from a bone, another wrong goodbye, and 100 sailors. That deep blue sky is my home, and she left in the fall. That's a picture on the wall. She always had that little drop of poison. The rat always knows when he's in with weasels. And was a million. They all have ways to make you. And she left in the fall. That's a picture on the wall. She always had that little drop of poison. And she left in the fall. That's a picture on the wall. Always had that little drop of poison.
Good evening and welcome to Not the Show. I am Joe.
And I am Mondo.
Welcome, Mondo. How are you?
I am well, sir. Thank you. How are you?
Good, except for the technical difficulties I've been having with the Ustream today.
Yeah, we were off to a late start anyway. And then I don't know.
We're about
Technical difficulties.
We're about 4 weeks late, to be exact.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been a month.
Wow, I thought it was just like 2.5 weeks.
It was the 19th, I think, was our last show.
Jesus.
Yep. So basically, all I have running on the Ustream is me. But it seems to be steady running me. When I try and run the capture thing that captures you, it crashes all of Ustream. So until next week...
I'm crashing Ustream.
You crashing all of Ustream. So until next week, I'm going to stick with myself, I think. Or if I get tired of looking at me, I may switch to the logo screen.
Yeah, there you go. Nobody needs to look at me today anyway. I look like who did it and ran.
Some weeks you're just a little logo of yourself anyway, right?
That's true. That's true when I have connection issues.
Right. This time it's completely not you. It's all me.
It's all Joe, all the time.
That's right. And it's happening because I foolishly install beta software everywhere I live. My important machines. Software. Although we did get an update yesterday, so it's a little better than it was yesterday. About half my apps still aren't working. But, the important stuff works. I can text and I can go online and I could make phone calls.
You're an early adopter.
I am. And the reason the computer is screwed up because I installed Yosemite, which is OS 10. Yes, it's OS 10.10.10, which is a little strange, but yes, it's no, it's not. I had too many decimal places. It's OS 10, 10.10.
Okay.
It's very cool.
X 10.10.
Right, OS X 10.10. Yeah, it's got some cool looking new logos, and I like it a lot. But obviously, it's still buggy, and so some stuff's still not working.
I fear change.
But that's okay, I think. I don't know if I can hear you anymore.
Uh
Uh-oh, you got low.
I got low.
Try again.
Okay.
All right, I hear you now.
Being with me, girl, is like being low.
I got you. It was my headphones.
Cracker. That was Cracker.
Cracker? Could be Cracker.
Cracker. Sang that song low. And that was Tom Waits singing "Little Drop of Poison."
I like that. And you did that because of Game of Thrones?
Absolutely.
Cool. Let me finish Gadget Talk first, and then we'll talk about Game of Thrones, since we
let's talk about
Gadget Talk. The Apple, aside from the stuff I just mentioned on the Apple stuff, no new hardware announcements, lots of new software stuff. All boring. I don't even think I'm going to go into any detail here. No one cares.
New developer language. Isn't there?
Tons of new developer stuff. So there's like a new language for developers to write software in. There's all kinds of new features that are going to be added. That some of which you have already on your Android phone. But Apple tends to do that. They wait and what they consider perfect features that other phones have already done, and they try and do it better.
They try.
Yeah, so we're getting that. We're getting stuff that you've had, actionable notifications, and share sheets between apps that we didn't have before. Things like that.
I want to hear about bigger phones.
That we will hear about bigger phone. There will be a bigger phone in October.
I mean, because I love Android. We used to have this discussion more often.
We did.
However, I mean, my main iPhone. I mean, I have absolutely no problem with with iOS and the iPhone itself, aside from the fact that it's too damn small for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine for listening to stuff and actually using it as a phone.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I have clumsy sausage fingers. I don't know. I mean, I see people with worse fingers than mine, like big, bulky Kabasi fingers, and they have no problem. So I mean, it's a personal problem, I think, for me. But it's just too small for me. So I'm interested to see what the larger phones look like and whether it might be Switch.
Maybe the rumors say it's going to be 4.7 and possibly also a 5.5. That doesn't sound very Apple-y to me. I think 4.7 is realistic and 5.5 is not.
Probably not.
5.5 is 5.5 is like the Note. That's
right.
Incredibly big. So I think that's a bad rumor. But the 4.7 I think is a good rumor.
I think they'll do both.
I don't think they'll. Typical of them to do that, though, right? It's like.
Well, it wasn't typical of Steve Jobs to do that.
True. But
these new guys are no Steve Jobs.
Also true. Although this developer conference was very positive for Apple. They announced a lot of new stuff, and they moved ahead with things that no one ever thought Apple would do, which is probably because there's new management there.
Right.
And they were a lot of amazing. All the developers were incredibly enthusiastic about the whole thing, from what I understand. So I'm hopeful that we're going to get a bigger phone. I don't know if I'm hopeful, but I think there's going to be one size bigger, and I think they'll still sell the old one at the cheaper price. So they'll keep the 4-inch phone, and there'll be a 4.7. The 5.5 might be like the following year. Apple tests phones 4 or 5 years in advance. So I don't know. 5.5 sounds huge. I mean, they've always said that they want phones to be usable one-handed, and 5.5 is just way too big for one-handed, I think.
I mean, I use my Note pretty good one-handed.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to go bigger. I mean, I've seen bigger. I think the Note as far as like phablets go,
Mm-hmm.
I think the Note is the Note 2. I think the Note 3 is about the same size. I've picked one up, but I haven't really played with it.
I think they're the
But
same.
yeah, I mean that's like a good size for me, for my hand.
Mm-hmm.
I can use it one-handed with no issues. I wouldn't want to go any bigger, and yeah, then I think it would start being inconvenient.
Because I saw a picture of like a dummy 5.5-inch iPhone, and it was, the screen is about the same. Was about the same as the Note 5.5. I think is about the same, but the physical size of the phone itself was even bigger than the physical size of the Note. Because the
Yeah.
iPhones have that kind of big forehead and big chin with the button on it, and
Right.
and if those things don't get any smaller, if the phone just gets 5.5 inches and everything else stays the same proportion, it's
Like a Jay Leno phone.
yeah, it looked big to me, and I just don't think Apple's gonna do it.
Yeah, it's on its way.
Yeah, it's running Android, but you can't tell it's Android. It's got a big Amazon skin over the Android stuff.
They've stripped out all the Google.
Yep, it's very much like their like the Fire tablets. This is their Fire phone. It's got the typical stuff, 4.7-inch screen. Everything else is pretty typical. But the the two big unique features that they're trying to sell the phone on is it has 4 front-facing cameras, right, that face the screen, and they're not there to take 4 selfies at a time with. They're for spatial recognition of your face, distance, and just general face recognition. They're also infrared, so they work in the dark. And the point of that is to make kind of a 3D effect. So when you tilt the phone, you could see things that were kind of off the edge of the phone, kind of like the big 3D pictures in the Doctor Who 50th anniversary thing.
Right.
When you kind of walk over to the side, you can kind of see into the behind the frame.
Right.
So that's what they're going for. They're going for like, have you ever seen the iOS 7 parallax effect on Angie's phone or iPod? How when you tilt it, the picture kind of shifts a little.
No.
Well, anyway, it's supposed to be like that, just much more. You can see it really well, like on the home screen. Whatever her home screen picture is, if you tilt, the picture kind of shifts back and forth behind the edges.
My iPhone is dead. I have to plug it in.
Anyway, it's supposed to. You do?
Yeah. I'll get into that in a second, but
Okay.
something about the camera.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be 3D-ish, and that's it kind of sounds like a gimmick to me. Do you want your phone to be 3D?
No, I had the Evo 3D,
Mm-hmm.
the HTC Evo, and I mean the main reason I got it was because it was it was a better phone than the phone I currently had.
Yeah.
And I got it from Cowboom, Best Buy's like used, tech store
Sure.
online. And it was a pretty good price, and I was like, it's like an update from what I got now, so I'm gonna grab it. I didn't really care about the 3D, and I mean, the 3D was awesome for like a minute.
Yeah.
It was gimmicky. I was just like, wow, that's awesome. There, I'm done. I was done. I took some 3D pictures and I showed them to people. I was like, look, isn't that awesome? They were like, yeah. And I was just like, yeah, and now you're done. It's gimmicky. Gimmick. I have an iPhone 4S. I use for listening to, I use it as an iPod. It's Angie's old one when we upgraded her to the 5S. I have her old one with the shattered screen. I got to get that screen replaced.
Okay. You have iOS 7 on it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Up to date there?
Yeah, I think. Can't tell. The screen's all shattered. No, I can tell. No, yeah, no. I had her update it before, before she shattered the screen, and then when I and I can just stick the iPod in my or the iPhone in my band. I have like a little band that's got my badge on it, and I stick that in there, and I'm able to listen to stuff at work.
Oh, that's cool. So any more? Oh yeah, and the second Amazon thing is the creepier. First, it's creepy already that those cameras are on 24 hours a day, always looking at your face. Because that's all they do. That's all they're for, is to look at your face. The other thing it'll do, it's got a dedicated button on the side. You could kind of think of it as it's just the logo or the name of the front of the product, and it will say, okay, well, you want to buy that on Amazon right now? And you could just say yes, and it'll buy.
Is this such a bad idea?
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
I mean, not even the fact that like people are just going to start impulse buying things that they probably have no money to afford. But I'm going to start borrowing. Like, I'm going to be like, is that one of them Amazon Fire phones? Yeah, can I see that? I've been thinking about getting one, and I'll just start taking pictures of random shit and clicking that button.
That's awesome. They claim it'll also do like a phone number. It'll read phone numbers off pages and do optical character recognition straight from the camera. I don't know. All of these features sound not very useful to me.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
You already have one on the way. Because Amazon is everywhere, and you said something on Facebook sarcastically.
I did.
About about how you want it, and Amazon has taken that and logged it, and you have an Amazon Prime account, so that phone's on its way.
It must be.
And we're talking about it right now. There's one on its way to me too now.
The doorbells are gonna ring.
Jeff Bezos is our one listener tonight, and he is sending me a phone because we had a guest pop up in the chat room and then leave while we were talking about this. That was Jeff Bezos, and he's just like, "Yep, send one to Mondo too." That new thing though they're doing with the Prime with the music.
Prime Music.
Yeah.
It's like just like Spotify or those others, except it's nothing newer than 6 months, which is not a terribly bad thing. And Universal, I think, is missing still. They don't have deals yet with Universal.
Yeah.
But it's free with Prime.
Exactly, and I have Prime, and you don't need to have an Amazon device to do it.
No, they have
a library where you have to have a Kindle, not the Kindle app. You have to have a Kindle and borrow a book from their lending library.
Prime Music works with apps, the apps on Android and on iPhone.
Right.
I haven't tried it yet. I have Spotify, so I haven't used it yet.
Yeah, I have Slacker, but I tried it, and I got some. They got some nice pre-made playlists.
Yeah.
I was waiting for Ange to get ready on Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, by the way.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Thank you. I was waiting for her to get ready. We're going over to John's house, so I figured, while I was waiting on her, I would just poke around the app. And they have some pre-made playlists. I listened to the Cake playlist. I had a good time with that, and Slacker does the same thing. They have playlists that are DJ'd. They have 55 most embarrassing songs on Facebook.
Really?
And they got these two guys narrate that one. They got a couple guys DJ, a bunch of these guys. These two guys, I can't remember their names for the life of me, but they wrote a book called I Want My MTV. It was about the MTV, I guess. And they listen to a lot of music. They have a lot of lists, and some of the lists are pretty funny. 55 songs you think suck but don't. 55 songs that you think suck and you're absolutely right. In fact, you have no idea how bad they suck, and things like that. So nothing new there, but I'm paying for the service, so I might as well use it.
That's cool. It sounds like human curated playlists, which is always.
Yeah, I like the human curated ones. They're pretty good. Sometimes you get some funny songs off them.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about using Beats lately, mainly because Apple bought them.
Right.
No, I haven't done it yet because we do pay for Spotify, and if I'm going to pay for one of those services, I'm only going to pay for one.
Yeah.
And I'm going to wait and see what Apple does with the Beats music streaming service. Also with the headphones. It's a really odd purchase, I thought. Did you heard anything about it? $3 billion they spent.
Yeah, I felt I can turn up my own bass. I don't know how good the headphones actually are. I mean, I've most people is like, well, like really, they got good bass. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, you can just turn that up
Yeah.
yourself. When I was listening to headphones, I mean, I didn't think they definitely weren't any better than any of the other top end, headphones that I've listened to. And they weren't any better than some of the like mid-range headphones I listened to. In my opinion, I don't know. I don't listen to a lot of the hip hop, so I don't know.
I'm sure it is.
Apple's going to be the hip hop phone now.
Well, it probably is for their image that they bought it, right? They're a popular brand. They're popular young people. It's kind of a market that Apple doesn't quite have a huge hold on. As cool as people think iPhones are, I don't know if they think they're as cool as they used to. So I think part of the purchase might have been to kind of raise up their image and to get the guy Dre and Iovine. He's the record exec guy. So they're gonna have a hand in all of the music deals coming in the future. So he's got some power with the music industry, that guy, and maybe they're thinking it's going to bring the cool factor to Apple a little. Maybe they'll improve the headphones. Maybe with the purchase they'll. From what I heard, it cost $20 to make the $200 headphones. So maybe they'll put some money into improving the headphones, and I don't think they'll ever change the name. I think it'll always be Beats.
Sure.
And I think maybe we'll end up with Beats headphones with every iPhone, the earbuds at least, instead of the standard headphones. But I'm really not sure. It's still interesting, I suppose.
I like the new Apple earbuds, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. While we're still talking Apple and headphones now. Yeah, Ange didn't like them, so I took them.
Mm-hmm.
Because my Samsung headphones, they got all messed up at work and stuff, and I washed them a couple times, and I like them. So I mean, that's what I use, for whatever I'm listening to. I use the new Apple earbuds, kind of like well,
I do.
and our listeners know. If you don't know what the new earbuds are like, well, I don't know, something wrong with you. But I saw something on that. Back to the Amazon smartphone.
Mm-hmm.
They said something about the headphones not tangling.
Yeah.
I will say my Samsung headphones said that they were not going to tangle, and they did not. Just general sticking in my pocket and stuff, and things like that. I mean, they did not tangle. Whereas my Apple, I stick them in my pocket, I take them out. I spent 5 minutes untangling them, and I curse myself for sticking them in my pocket. My Samsung, they would tangle, but I would just kind of whoop, and just just grab one and whoop, and they would just shing, they just untangled. They did a good job there.
These are the Amazon ones. The cable is flat like a shoelace, little skinnier than a shoelace, but so they're. That's how they get away with no tangle. And the earbuds are magnetic and they click together, so you can stick them together.
Into your ears?
Not using them, I suppose you're supposed to click them together, and then that'll keep the small wires from tangling, I think.
Stick a little piece of metal in your ear. Jeff Bezos comes to your house and performs the surgery to stick a little plate of metal in your ear.
And then they just stick to your head. I like that idea.
Jeff Bezos is back in the chat room now. He really is. Or someone, our guest is back. Could be Jeff Bezos.
Could be Jeff Bezos. Could be someone completely not Jeff Bezos.
Hello, Jeff.
All right, so what else do we have here? Let's okay, we're done with geek news, I think.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
rem-
that's kind of geek news.
I don't remember if there's anything. Oh, you know what else there was? Facebook put out a new app. You probably didn't even hear about this. Facebook put an app called Slingshot.
You know, I have heard of it, but only in the sense that I heard that.
And
What
so,
you just said
yeah.
is everything I know about it.
So what Slingshot does is, do you know what Snapchat does?
Okay.
So Snapchat is that teenage app that everyone sexts with, right? You send a picture that disappears after 10 seconds. Same thing with chatting back and forth. You can message back and forth, and they also disappear within a few seconds. So what Facebook had to do to compete, I suppose, is they made this app called Slingshot. And what Slingshot does is something very similar. You take a picture or video of yourself, and you send it to everyone at once in your Facebook list. You choose specific people or every person. And then...
So it's like group sext.
Correct. So you would get it, and it would say on your phone, Joe just sent you a slingshot. And you'll be like, okay, I want to see it. And it'll say, no, you can't see it until you send a slingshot back. So as soon as you send him a photo or video, you'll be able to see the one he sent you. And then I'll get a notification that says, Mondo replied to yours and sent you something back, but you can't see it until you send him another photo or video. It's diabolical in its retardedness.
It is.
Because it's forcing everyone to continually message back and forth and never leave that app for any other kind of messaging. Because to see the message someone sent you, you got to send them another message.
Right. And my first thought was like, oh, I'd just be like, well, fuck you. I don't need to see your message.
True.
You know, depending who sent it, I might be like, well, God damn it, what did they send me? And I'd probably say, well, what did you send me? Is it worth me looking at? And they'd say, well, you have to look at it and find out. And I'd be like, damn you. And then I would have to like take my clothes off and take the nude selfie and slingshot it back. And then it's just like a picture of someone eating pizza. And I'm just like, damn. I went all like full Hodor on them. And like, you know, they were just eating pizza. Shit.
So
I do
yeah,
not want to sext, man.
no.
No sexting for me. Slingshot. He's another one.
It's bizarre, isn't it?
Zuckerberg character. Yeah, it is bizarre.
Very strange.
Now, do you have Snapchat?
No, I might. I've never used it, but I might have the app. I downloaded the
I have
slingshot
Snapchat.
thing. I downloaded the slingshot thing. I've never used that either.
The Snapchat. I mean, I've got young people in my life.
Yeah.
My daughter, my sister, and they're just like, you don't have Snapchat. And, they just send me pictures of them, like, it's just like, hi, and it's like, they're making like, duck face or
Yeah, it's
just waving or something. So I'm not getting the I'm not getting the cool Snapchat pictures that the kids get, and I don't want to, not from these people. My friend Josh, he also Snapchats, and
I don't have
I don't know
anybody.
how often, but occasionally he'll send me a Snapchat.
I don't have anybody that Snapchats me. But
That's because you hang out with mature folk, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean that in the good way.
I suppose.
Mature folk, they don't need to be Snapchatting. What do you need to Snapchat people for? Snapchat.
I mean, you could, if it's not something private that you need to disappear in 10 seconds, why not just use messages?
Exactly.
Or-
Maybe I
or-
really like that picture. I'm just like, oh, that's a good picture of you, Andy. I can't keep it now, though. Well, I mean, I could always screenshot it.
Yeah. I mean, doesn't it tell you if someone screenshots your picture?
I think it does.
I think it
And if
tells
it
you, right?
doesn't, there is a service that does. But I think they tell you if someone screenshots it.
I think so too.
Snapchat. Snapchat in a slingshot. Ugh. The future. Not what I was hoping.
No, I guess not.
It's good stuff, but yeah.
All right, so let's move on. How long have we been going? We've been going a half hour already? All right.
I think maybe.
We'll call that the break because when we come back, we have some TV news and news, and we'll talk about Game of Thrones. And we'll blow through some of these stories quick. And we'll be right back.
Yeah.
There's the television. All right there. All right there. Look, listen, Neil, Fred. Mercy.
Get some money. Take him to the movies or something.
We're back.
We're back. That was Nashville Pussy. With gonna hitchhike down to Cincinnati and kick the shit out of your drunk daddy.
That's cool.
Also, that was half Father's Day, half of another Game of Thrones type choice. Because there's a lot of daddy issues.
That's the
A lot of daddy issues.
So let's talk about Game of Thrones. You're all caught up. You saw the end of the season.
I am. Yes.
We don't have to worry about spoilers here. It's been 2 weeks. It's been at least a week. No,
We're going to worry about spoilers a little. So this is a spoiler alert, not just for the show, but I mean there are some possible book things I think I might bring up.
okay.
So spoiler alert for those of you who don't want to be spoiled. Listen anyway. You'll forget anything I said in a week. So this has been a pretty good season of Game of Thrones.
I thought it was a very good season. I don't know if I'm going to call it the best season of the 4, but it's been really good.
This was the head-crushingest best season ever.
Jen was so shocked. I knew it was going to happen. I mean, I didn't read the most recent. I didn't read the book. I only read first 2.
Really?
Yeah.
spoiler alert, Joe. I might talk about the books.
That's fine. I know most of what's going on. So Jen was like, "No, it can't be. How's gonna happen?" I was like, "I'm not telling you."
Yeah, it's like that's why like if you kill somebody, like I don't know, man. Don't try to get information from them from like right next to them. I don't know, man.
He got cocky. He was like,
He did.
toyed with him for too long, and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, he had reasons, I suppose, but that was rough.
Tyrion, because Oberyn, there, he was Tyrion's champion for his trial by versus the Mountain, and anyone who watches the show will know the Mountain is like this huge, unbeatable foe,
Sure.
and Oberyn was just like he was like a pretty boy. He's a pretty boy, bisexual, like I'll sleep with anything that moves. And he totally kicked the Mountain's ass. He destroyed the Mountain.
He did. He was
But,
faster. He had more. Just basic sword skills. The Mountain just kind of slash and strength and size.
Yeah. And but he was mostly doing it not because like he believes in Tyrion, but he wanted revenge because the Mountain killed his sister and her children.
Yeah.
And he wanted revenge, and he also wanted the confession.
Yes.
And one thing that he wanted that he didn't do in the books was, he wanted Tywin Lannister implicated. And so as he's like, as the Mountain's laying there like dying and all stabbed up and shit, like, he gets like right in his face and he's like, tell me you did it. Tell me you did it. Who put you up to it? And the Mountain just grabs him by the ankle and just knocks him to the ground and climbs on top of him. He's like, yep, I did it. And I crushed your head just like this. And he crushes the head. He puts his thumbs in his eyes, like, he took out his eyes, and then he crushed his head, and it was on TV. And it's like, that happens in the book.
Yeah.
And, I'm one of those people who definitely say you should read the book. Book's always better than the movie. That was unbelievably awesome.
It was.
Sad and terrible, but
Yes.
also pretty awesome.
Yes, I thought it was great as well. I've been getting a little bored with Daenerys. She's doing nothing lately.
Yeah.
The only thing she
That's
basically...
kind of how it goes in the books, too.
I know, and I mean, I guess the only thing she did recently was she decided that her second in command, that guy, I don't remember his name, she sent him away as a traitor because of something he did a while back.
Yeah, Jorah Monmouth or something like that.
Right, and we actually saw him fighting alongside of one of the other...
I think so.
Yeah, he was there. He went right back to the guy who he was spying for after Daenerys told him to go away.
Which is not how it pans out in the books.
No, huh?
No. Stannis does show up at the wall
Mm-hmm.
in the books. But yeah, that's very, So if that is him, like, he shouldn't be there.
I'm pretty sure he was there. I'm pretty sure he was riding like right at his side.
We're gonna have to see how the next season plays out, because they're running out of stuff. I mean, they've added stuff like the awesome Hound Brienne fight.
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome.
Yeah, didn't he just die of gangrene in the book?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, from the wound
Yeah.
on his neck.
Right, the guy that bit him.
Yep,
Biter. The guy's name was Biter.
of course.
Go figure.
We didn't see him die.
Arya left him to die in both the book and the show.
Right, we didn't see him die. I suppose it's possible he might not. Although you know in the book whether he dies or not.
Yes, and he does.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the end of his story, but he does. He does succumb to his bite.
Right.
But she kicked his ass.
She did. And he keeps making fun of Arya's little sword.
Yeah.
And And what she does though reminds me of what the guy did in the fight with the mountain. That's kind of her.
Yeah.
That's kind of what she's heading towards, I think. When she showed the coin to the guy in the boat, I thought that was awesome too. Jen didn't see the first 2 seasons. I had to tell her what that was all about.
Right. Yeah, very good. But I mean, Watchers on the Wall. The penultimate episode
Yes.
was all wall, all the
wall.
time. That's probably my favorite episode of the entire series to date.
And it was as good as any movie of that kind of type that I've ever seen. It was.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was.
The Giants were awesome.
Yeah.
That giant shot that arrow.
Yeah.
Thinking like right before it happened, someone else shot like an arrow up at someone up the wall, and you see the arrow goes nowhere. And I'm just like, man, motherfucker, give a giant a bow. Let's see what happens. And then he pulled it out. And I was like, oh shit. Oh, that was awesome. It's like Cadillac-sized arrows he's shooting at people. The Giants were cool.
They were.
They did those well.
They were. And then the last episode, we get to see what happens to Tyrion, and we get to see that what the hell else happened in the last episode?
Jojen gets killed when Brandon finds the three-eyed crow.
Right. We finally found the tree. For the whole season.
Yeah.
And
since the burning of Winterfell.
Yeah, forever. And we didn't get to see what that's all about. The guy said,
No.
"You'll never walk again, but you will fly." Now I don't know if we're supposed to take that literally, or if he was
Just chuck him out the moon
some
door.
kind of metaphor, some kind of metaphor for something.
It's a metaphor for the moon door. That's the one thing I've learned watching this show. If someone tells you you're going to fly, they're throwing you through the moon door.
What else?
Yeah, Jojen dies.
Yeah.
But now Tyrion's escape from death. I mean, that kind of once again, this is book spoilers. I mean, it was nice. And it was very touching, and Jaime's just I'm setting you free, little brother, because I love you. And he's just thanks, big brother. And they kiss, and he leaves, and then he goes and he kills his girlfriend and his father. But important thing that happens in the books. I mean, if you remember from the earlier seasons, they talk about how when Tyrion was younger, he married a whore.
Yeah.
And his father, I guess basically had the marriage annulled, and also had her have sex with everybody in Casterly Rock. Jaime confesses to him in the book. Jaime confesses to him that she was just a simple farm girl who really kind of thought Tyrion was all right by her. She liked him, and she was not a whore. And that's just because their father's what he decided to do.
Okay.
And so they lied to him about that. So he was very mad, and he confessed to killing Joffrey to Jaime, even though he had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Really?
He just wanted Jaime to feel like shit.
Okay.
And he's like, and you know what? He's like, yeah. He's like, that's what you guys fucking did to me. That's what. You know what? Yeah, I killed your fucking son. Good for me. Good for me. He had nothing to do with it, but he's lashed out.
Yeah.
Jaime still let him go, but now Jaime's thinking holy shit, So there it's a lot of holy shit moments, and Tyrion deep in depression because, and he asked at one point, I guess when he was younger, he asked his father, well, what happened to her, and he went he said to him she went wherever whores go, and in the future in the books, currently in the books, but I guess in the future in the show, I mean, he's drunk a lot, wandering about the world.
Mm-hmm.
And he's asking people, whenever people, say, oh, what are you doing? He's like, I don't know, where the whores go. So, I guess they're not going to do that because it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, I guess not.
But I really enjoyed that, that whole exchange between them where, Jaime, was just listen, our dad sucks, and this is what he did.
Yeah.
And Tyrion was just all mad, and he was like, I don't know. So.
And then he went and
killed
his dad.
Yeah, he went and killed his dad, and he killed Shay, who he loved.
Yeah.
And she was a whore.
She was in dad's bed. At first we were watching it, and Jen said, "Why did he just kill her?" And I was like, "Well, she did do all that lying, and she probably got paid to lie." And then she didn't realize it was Tywin's bed until he said it when he was at crossbow point.
Right.
And then it
In
made
the can.
In the can. Then it made sense.
Killed him in the can.
Killed him in the can. And Daenerys locked up her dragons.
Yeah, 2 of them.
The third one is missing.
Because the third one burnt up a little kid.
Yep. That was a little harsh.
Yeah.
Maybe why not just train them a little better? Because they're dragons, I suppose.
Yeah, you can't tame a dragon.
No, I guess not. What else? I guess that's almost everything.
Yeah, I mean,
Jon Snow, he was there, and nothing really happened with him.
no, his girlfriend's dead.
Stannis, we realize he's still loved.
Shit about what happened south of the wall. Yeah, they're not interested in killing people. They'll kill people because
That was very interesting.
so we're building up to something.
We are.
And if we're lucky, it'll be the same as what happens in the books. And I don't say that with any sort of knowledge as what happens in the books. I say that because we're running out of books. We're kind of burning through. They're burning through George R.R. Martin's story kind of quick there.
I think they hinted that they'll write their own ending if they had to.
Yeah, and that could be absolutely different than what he has. Because I think what we have left is A Dance with Dragons. There's still some other stuff, a Feast of Crows stuff, that needs to happen.
Isn't there one that takes place in one spot?
No.
Those last two. One of those last two was not completely about just.
A Feast for Crows was. It had a lot of it wasn't just one spot, but what it didn't have was a lot of other people's stories.
Okay.
Because there was very little Jon Snow, there was very little Daenerys in one of them, and then they caught up with all that in A Dance with Dragons. But aside from some Jon Snow stuff, A Dance with Dragons is here's, I guess, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't read this far, but I'd have to reread it to tell you that I'm being completely factual here, but it's a lot of politics as far as what's going on at the wall, because they're kind of leaderless now, and they killed a lot of minor characters who in recently on the show, Pip and Gren. Gren, who defended the tunnel against the giant.
Yeah.
God bless him. He was awesome. But they're still alive in the books, and they were instrumental in some stuff that happens in Dance with Dragons. But like I said, a lot of political intrigue. Arya does some cool stuff in Bravos, which is where she's going from, where she was. And Tyrion drinks a lot and is very depressed. And, Daenerys is also very depressed. Dance with Dragons, it was good. It's a lot of building towards something, but it's not going to translate as well to the screen because we want to see more action. We want to see cooler stuff happening like it's been happening all along. So, Dance of Dragons isn't going to... I suppose if they cut out all of the boring stuff, obviously they're not covering everything they do in the books. Maybe there's enough exciting stuff in A Dance of Dragons to make it worthwhile. I don't know.
I guess we'll
see.
see.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought Sansa, the actress who played Sansa, who I was throughout all of this, I was like, whatever. I didn't really care about her story very much. But when she had to lie to save
Littlefinger.
Littlefinger. I thought she pulled that off brilliantly. I was impressed. I was like, wow. So this is her acting ability. I thought she was very good. That was a good moment too. That was maybe 3 weeks ago too. That wasn't even last week.
Yeah, and then they skipped a week too, so that was probably actually right around the time we did our last show.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that they've changed. And that's not something she does really in the books. I mean, it's like, she realizes she can't get knocked around anymore like the way she has been. But I guess we'll have to see what happens next season. But she came down just like,
yeah, she did.
I am a power player. She was rubbing her hands together. Sansa.
Anything else? I guess that's it. I know that I was wondering if let's be a little vague here. I was wondering if someone was going to come back to life as one of the last exciting moments this season, or if
I was expecting that.
Yeah.
I was going to mention it and decided not to for spoiler reasons, but we won't name names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was going to happen this season, but I guess they're going to save it for the beginning of next season.
Which, I mean that's they're not afraid to end things on cliffhangers.
No.
And I thought that would be a decent cliffhanger.
Mm.
I was really expecting to end that episode with that.
Yeah.
And those of you who have read the books, like, you know exactly what we're talking about.
too.
Those of you who haven't are like, I don't know, read the books. read the books. You've got like a year or so. Catch up. And depending how quickly you read, it might take you that long to get through those books.
True.
What do we got? Storm of Swords clocks in. I have it right here, like a big geek. Clocks in how many pages? I don't know, like over 1,100 pages.
Nice.
And that's just one of the books. I think they all clock in somewhere close to that, or at least the later ones do.
Yeah, they're some pretty hefty books.
Yeah, they are.
We don't have a lot of time left. We can go through the news, or we could talk about Air Supply. We could save the news. I went and saw Air Supply.
I'm all out of love, is it them?
Yes.
I'm so lost without you.
Yes, they're very old.
I'm sure. My God.
And the other people in the band are so not old. It's like they hired. They must have musicians. Maybe they're even touring. I don't know, but could have been their grandkids playing guitars and drums with them. It was an interesting show. I had a lot of fun. Let me preface it with that. I was with a bunch of my best friends, and so it was a lot of laughs, and it was love ballads, basically 18,
Right.
10 or 15 love songs in a row. And we were sort of laughing and making fun sometimes. And sometimes we were, just enjoying the music, because it's music. And some girl in front of us got so annoyed that she went off and told security on us. I don't know what she told them.
No, she didn't.
I don't know what she told them. The people behind me are making fun of the music. Go take them away.
Now, when you say some girl, I mean, all right, apparently she's a big Air Supply fan if she was like that annoyed. Now, was she there with her grandkids? I mean, when you say girl, I mean,
she was probably a hair older than me. Maybe she was 45, not even too much older. But there were a lot of old people there. We might have been the youngest people in the whole place.
man.
Maybe.
What would security do? Like they do? Did
Nothing.
they just look at you and just like shake their heads?
No, they did nothing. But we were a little quieter after that.
Okay.
We did nothing. The people behind us were just as rowdy. There was like 5 guys sitting behind us, and anytime like the big chorus would come up, and it was the very familiar lyrics, they would belt it out as loud as they could, with no singing skills whatsoever.
Right.
So it was just funny and fun, And
I mean, I got to assume. I mean, was the main reason you went was like almost like a goof?
my friends were
Like,
going.
holy shit, Air Supply. Let's go see them.
My friends wanted to go because they kind of some of them kind of like Air Supply, and so I was like, I'll
There's
tag
nothing
along.
wrong.
Yeah, the ticket was inexpensive, and it was, like I said, some of my best friends. So I said, I'm coming. Well, why wouldn't I? I like music in general, so I'll see anything.
Because I